There we go. People hear me? We good? Okay, so my name is Davey Shafik. I am a developer. I have been for about 15 years, mostly PHP. I'm an author. I have several books out. Go buy them. I'm an open source contributor, and part of that is I'm now a release manager for PHP 7.1, so that's cool. I didn't realize it was a 3-year commitment, but hey. Most importantly, I'm at Shafik on Twitter, and I work for Akamai. We run about 30% of the internet's traffic. It's kind of cool. We do some really cool stuff. Check us out. So my job today is to convince you that HTTP2 is awesome and that you should start looking at it. HTTP2 is a real thing. We know this because it has a logo. It's also supported by 60% of browsers currently out in the wild that users are using. Not just like versions of browsers, but actually out there. That includes Chrome and Chrome Mobile. It includes Firefox, IE 11 on Windows 10. I might have this thing upside down. Microsoft Edge and Safari if you're on El Capitan and iOS 9. And Opera. Let's try it the other way. There we go. All right. Nobody uses Opera, but it does support it. I realize that that's probably not the best thing to say in Sweden.
That's Norway.
It's Norway? Oh, yay! I was at PyCon last week, and I said it there, and it didn't go over well. One thing is that all browsers require TLS for HTTP2, so that's something to consider. So what is HTTP2? Most importantly, it is binary instead of text. This means it's much more efficient to parse. We save resources. It's great. Less traffic on the wire. It is fully multiplexed instead of ordered and blocking, which means that you can use one connection for parallel requests, which negates that overhead of TLS being required. It also uses something called header compression, called HPAC for header compression, which is really cool, but I'm not going to get into details of that. My favorite feature is server push. And what this does is it allows you as a server to proactively push assets down to the client when they make a request. So for example, they say, I want your HTML page, and you say, that's nice, but you're also going to need the CSS, the JavaScript, our logo, and all this other stuff, so we're going to give you that as well. And it goes into their cache, and then when they do make that request, they've already got that data. So you don't have to wait for them to receive the HTML, parse the HTML, and make those sub-requests. So what does H2, which is the alternate name for it, mean for your application? For the most part, it's transparent. It's going to be handled by Nginx or Apache, and you really don't have to care about it. So what's the point, right? Turn it on. No. The point is HTTP1 sucks. Because of the limitations of HTTP1, we've come up with some amazing techniques to make things faster. We have things like minifying and concatenating JavaScript and CSS files, inlining small bits of JavaScript and CSS for your critical path to make sure that what loads in the window is there as soon as it comes in without having to wait for sub-resources. We use things like image sprites and data URIs, domain sharding because of the 6 connection limit. All of these things are great, but all of them are hacks. And with the improvements that we have in H2, all of these actually become anti-patterns and things we don't need to do anymore. So we can simplify our tool chains and we get better performance without having to do all of this stupid stuff. So I want to look at a little bit of code. Magic number 378 requests, and the reason we're going to make that is this is a little demo that we have, http2.akamai.com, and essentially on the left-hand side we're loading over HTTP1 378 little tiles to make the Akamai glow. And as you can see, it takes something like 12, 13 seconds or so. Even more than that. Where are we at? 15, 16... There we go, 17. It's a video, I should know what that is. But as you saw, H2 super fast because it's multiplexing. On the left-hand side, we're creating 379 potential connections, and on the right-hand side, we are using that one single multiplexed H2 connection. So, moving on with some code, a simple for loop. So we're going to for I0, inum requests, and just loop over that and do 378 requests, right? We use curl, and I know a lot of people don't like curl, but I've kind of fallen in love with it. It's kind of awesome. So curl init, create the client. We set an option to set the URL. We execute it, and we close it, right? That's all we have to do, 378 times. That takes 47.67 seconds. All right, HTTP2, we basically do the same thing except that we add this extra option to set the version to HTTP2. That's all we're changing. and now it takes 62 seconds. This is obviously not the result we want, and the reason for this is that there is some overhead in the backwards compatibility that comes with HTTP2. So the way that it works is either if you're doing plain text, which you can't in a browser, or if you're using TLS, there's a negotiation. You start off as an HTTP1 connection, and then you actually say, hey, I want to use H2, can you do that? Yes, so this whole thing is a trade-off. But if you're only opening one connection, it only happens once. So if you support HTTP2, then it's much, much faster. In this code, we're creating separate clients for every single request. We're doing that handshake and that upgrade every single time. So what about concurrent connections? So we can do this in HTTP1. We have HTTP pipelining. It's not well implemented anywhere. But the way that we do this is we use curl multi. So we create a multi-handler. We create all of our clients and we assign them to an array. And then we add them to the handle. And then this code I hate, but it's literally the same in every language that curl is in, and it's in every language. We have two loops. The first one starts executing those requests, and then essentially we have this while loop that keeps running until we have the first response. At which point we go down to the second loop, and then we start handling those responses. So this is still H1, and we get down to 8.6 seconds. That's great, right? Same for HTTP2, except now we're going to change to multiplexing for the type of pipelining. It's the only change we're going to make. This is identical, and now we're at 2.14 seconds. Now we're starting to see the benefits of that multiplexing using the one connection. This is a really great improvement. So, in summary, no more hacks. All of that crap you have to do to make H1 performant goes away. And in fact, they can be detrimental to your performance. There are some huge performance wins to be had, but be careful if you're doing that, one connection per client thing. But if you're doing this kind of stuff where you're making multiple requests, especially if you're doing like API requests, this can be great. 60% market share. This is out there. This is something you can do. It's in the latest Apache. It was in the like 2 releases ago of Nginx, they added H2 support. Server push just went into the latest version for Nginx. Apache's had it for a while. It's out there. This is something you can turn on, and if you do nothing else but turn it on, especially if you're using SSL, this is great. So HTTP2 is awesome. Go out and use it. I'm at dshafik, dshafik@akamai.com. These slides will be up when I have internet at daveyshafik.com/slides. That's it. Thank you. It might have been 3 minutes. Like, I could do more. I have more slides. Thank you. Is there any questions? Can I ask that?
Sure.
I got 3 minutes on here. Any questions?
What are possible drawbacks?
What?
Drawbacks. Yeah.
Possible drawbacks of using HTTP?
No, it's completely backwards compatible. And anytime that it does get used, it is more performant both on the client side and less resources on the server. So no.
You have the right to talk in Sweden. We did Opera and we did Norway, and you like curl and main curl the developers in Sweden?
Yes, actually, I know he still lives here, and I was hoping to meet him sometime back. He was actually in Florida where I used to live. I'm like, hey, we should meet up, and it didn't happen. So, but he's a super smart guy. Curl is awesome, and it actually, I have a patch in for 7.1 for curl to enable server push. So you can register a callback that will handle the pushes. With the pushes, the client is in control of whether or not they accept them. And that's what's in that patch as well. You can't just blindly send stuff down to users, and that's really important, especially for mobile clients and stuff. But yeah, curl is awesome. So, anything else? You can talk to me in the bar.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for the last minute scheduling this talk.